Today is our spring Ohigan service, and we traditionally hold an Ohigan service twice a year, one in the spring and once in the fall during the equinox. It's typically a time where things in nature are in balance and in harmony, as both Joy and Connie talked about. For us here in Chicago, it's usually not too cold, not too hot or too cold. Days and nights are usually equal, but unfortunately, our Chicago weather recently has been all over the place, right? So one day it's freezing and cold and snowing like it was this morning. And the next day it's a little warmer and raining. But I'm from Minnesota, so I should be used to wide swings in weather. So historically, Ohigan is a uniquely Japanese Buddhist tradition where people return to their ancestors' home to pay their respects. It's a time for us to reflect upon our balance with the Dharma and to seek balance in our own lives and to remind us of the deep connection to the rhythms and cycles of the earth and universe. So this year, the spring equinox officially is March 20th, so next week a little bit. So besides Ohigan, there's a lot going on this time of year. So this past Friday was the full lunar eclipse. That's nature doing its thing. So then tomorrow, March 17th, is St. Patrick's Day. So it's when everyone can claim to be Irish. So I wore my green robe just for this occasion, since I'm pretty sure I have some Irish in me. So I have fond memories of my second grade teacher way back in elementary school who would dye our lunch milk green. And if you weren't wearing green, you got pinched by her. So, I don't think that would go very well today in today's environment. Plus the Chicago River got its annual eco-friendly green dye yesterday. Also, today is Selection Sunday for March Madness, where colleges are selected to be in the NCAA tournament. College basketball fans fill out their brackets for the tournament. So Connie organizes a bracket for our family and friends. So I get very emotionally involved with that. So I always root for the underdog, but I think upsets are really a balance of nature. It's also the start of baseball season. And the Cubs play the Dodgers in Tokyo this coming Tuesday and Wednesday. I know you saw some exhibition games with the Hanshin Tigers and Yomiuri Giants. So I still root for my hometown team, the Minnesota Twins, but as lifelong Minnesota sports fans, I'm used to being disappointed. So unfortunately, I also know I have to listen to David Taguri go on and on about the Cubs. But the good news is that every team is tied for first place right now. So during spring Ohigan, there's increasing daylight, the temperature is warming up, and the flowers and trees are sprouting and seemingly gaining new. In front of the parsonage, flowers are just starting to emerge, so it's a wonderful sight to see. So it's considered an ideal time for spiritual reflection and awakening to the infinite wisdom and boundless compassion represented by Amida Buddha. With more sunlight, it's helpful for us as we receive more vitamin D, but for some it means increased suffering from allergies. So it depends on each of our perspectives how we see it. So Higan is translated as other shore and is a metaphor for crossing from this shore of greed, anger, and ignorance to the other shore of nirvana. The photo on the cover of your service program, if you look at that, it comes from the story as told by Shan Dao, one of the seven masters of our tradition, about the two rivers and white path and crossing over to the other shore. And there's so much symbolism in this picture, and it shows Shakyamuni Buddha encouraging us from this shore and Amida Buddha calling us from the western shore. Now, Higan comes from the Sanskrit word paramita, which expresses the idea how the Buddha guides people from this worldly shore to the other shore of the Pure Land. Paramitas are the six perfections or Buddhist virtues. These practices and disciplines, if perfected, will allow us to cross over to the other shore of nirvana. In general, Buddhists are encouraged to follow and practice the six paramitas to make our life advance to a better quality of life, to guide yourself from ignorance to enlightenment, from a wandering mind to a settled mind. And these are practices of monks and nuns to attain awakening, but difficult for us with life obligations like school, work, and our families to try to achieve. Now, in our Shin tradition, we recognize that these self-power practices are difficult to follow, yet we should not ignore them. They point us in the right direction and clarify the Buddhist ideal. However, The 6 paramitas are not considered to be the practice necessary for attaining enlightenment for a Shin follower, but as an act of gratitude for being assured of attaining birth in the Pure Land by the compassionate vow of Amida Buddha. A version of the 6 paramitas was something that Grady read this morning. So I'd like to talk about, today I'd like to talk about what it means to be in the present moment and how it relates to the paramitas. So please join me in Gassho as I read a passage attributed to Shakyamuni Buddha about the present moment. Shakyamuni taught that the secret of health for the mind and body is not to mourn for the past, not to worry about the future, and not to anticipate troubles, but to live wisely and earnestly for the present. Namo Amida Butsu. You know, you've probably all heard things like this, giving advice for making sure you're aware of what is happening now, to pay attention to appreciate the present moment. You know, how often do you find yourself worrying about the future or reliving the past, oblivious to the beauty of now? You know, we all rush towards many things, appointments, deadlines, life milestones, and when we do, we miss out on the present moment. We move at a pace that never really allows us to be here, and then wonder where days, weeks, and months have gone. The faster we try to go, the more behind we can feel. So in a world filled with distractions, finding presence, a state of being deeply attuned to the present moment, is important for well-being. Embarking on a journey to be more present can bring benefits that ripple out through every aspect of your life, helping you cultivate awareness, ease, and connection. You know, being in the moment means to fully focus on the present situation, actively engaging with your surroundings and experiences without getting caught up in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. Essentially, it's about being completely aware of what's happening right now. You know, there's a Japanese phrase, Nichi Nichi Kore Kojitsu, which translates to every day is a good day. And it's a Zen Buddhist phrase encouraging the idea that each day can be considered a positive and meaningful one regardless of circumstances. And this saying is often associated with Zen Buddhism and the practice of mindfulness, encouraging people to appreciate the present moment and find goodness in every day. You know, people may use this phrase as a reminder to be grateful for each day and live with intention. Every day is a good day is not comparing a good day as compared to a bad day, but that all days are good days and there are no bad days. You know, to a person planning a picnic, rain spoils the day. To a farmer worried about the crops, rain is welcome. To a person planning a picnic, the day becomes bad because his expectations are disappointed. But the day itself is not a bad day. The day is good. But the way a person meets the day makes it a bad day or a good day. It is how our ego selves make distinctions based on expectations. We are the ones who turn some days into bad days. So Jodo Shinshu practice is often explained as deep listening. That can be described as listening with the ears of the heart. And the Dharma School spoke about this last week. Listening with the ears of the heart is described by these 3 things. Number 1 is you should listen as if you are listening for the very first time. Secondly, you should listen as if the message is for you alone. And third and last, you should listen as if this is the last time you will ever do so in your life. You know, when you let these words become etched into your heart, it's the understanding that this is the most important day in your life. Today, you're given the gift of hearing the Dharma. To understand that every day is a good day is Buddhism. This is the content of enlightenment. Enlightenment is to live each day as a good day. On this celebration of Ohigan, where we reflect on the paramitas, being present and appreciating each moment is understanding that every day is a good day. Being present means being fully engaged and aware of your environment, body and mind in the here and now. It's known as mindfulness. Mindfulness can enrich your life, helping you benefit in all kinds of ways. Nembutsu, or reciting Namo Amida Butsu, is being mindful of the Buddha. Nen means to think on, and Butsu is referencing Amida Buddha, infinite wisdom and boundless compassion. So being mindful of Amida Buddha is not thinking about the statue that you see on the altar, but think of Amida as a dynamic spiritual power manifesting as wisdom and compassion that I'm made aware of in the ordinary experiences of my daily life. Wisdom helps me to see myself and life as they really are, not as just as I wish them to be. And compassion enhances my appreciation for things and assures me that I am embraced by a wider community and not forsaken as an isolated individual. And this is mindfulness. Now, there are other benefits of being present as it relates to the paramitas. Being present helps to improve relationships. Being present nurtures richer, more meaningful connections with the people who are important to you. It allows for active, empathetic listening and deeper understanding, cultivating stronger bonds and mutual acceptance in each other's limitations. So I think we can think of this as the second paramita of Shila, living in harmony with others. Being present helps to reduce stress. Being present helps to alleviate tension from overthinking or fretting about the past or future. We can think of this as the third paramita, or kshanti, or of patience. Being present helps to manage anxiety. Embracing the present enables you to distance yourself from overwhelming worries and fears. This is the fourth paramita, virya, or perseverance, dedicating our effort to the benefit of others. Being present enhances focus. Being present strengthens our ability to concentrate, the fifth paramita, filtering out distractions. And lastly, being present helps to boost emotional intelligence. When you're in tune with the present moment, you can become more aware of the emotion and reactions, enabling you to navigate your feelings more effectively and relate better to others. We can think of this as the sixth paramita of wisdom, the wisdom to see things as they truly are. There's a story that sticks out in my mind when our son was a very young toddler. So I'll talk about Kyle since he's here to hopefully embarrass him a little bit. So we were trying to teach him the concept of referencing days. For instance, how do you describe what is today, tomorrow, Monday, or next Thursday? And these are terms we all take for granted, but when talking to a toddler, it's a very difficult concept to initially learn. So there was a very fun event, a carnival, he was looking forward to that was occurring in a few days, and we were talking about how long he needed to wait until the day of the event. You know, it can be frustrating to a youngster just to have to wait and to show patience for something, but it's also frustrating trying to explain how long a few days is. So I resorted to, you go to sleep, you wake up, you go to sleep, you wake up, you go to sleep, and when you wake up, it will be that day. I don't think it worked, though. So when the day finally came, he got very excited, and he exclaimed, "It's today already." Right? And the pure joy he showed by making that statement made me smile. Feeling that immediate appreciation for that moment and to be joyful was something a young child taught me and stuck with me to this day. It was a child's moment of clarity, seeing the truth. You can call it a moment of awakening, the ability to perceive the true nature of all things. That's why today I want to take this moment to say Namo Amida Butsu, to express my gratitude for the opportunity to be with all of you today, to listen to the Dharma, and to appreciate this moment together. You know, we stand on the shoulders of so many that have led the way for us. This opportunity to listen to the Dharma together is not something we should take for granted. And this is what being grateful for the present moment means to me. So in closing, please join me in Gasho. When you completely miss today while planning for tomorrow, then when will you live? Namo Amida Butsu.